Hey, everybody, welcome to episode number 66 of the Debt Free Dad podcast. So my wife, who is with me right now, and I just completed a no spend challenge. So check this out. And we've talked about this a little bit on this show, but not much. But we ate at home for an entire year. That's right, 365 straight days. And today we are going to be sharing what we learned, how we stayed sane, which was pretty difficult, and was it even worth it? Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Debt Free Dad podcast, where we're helping normal, everyday people learn how to save money and kick debt so they can live a happier and stress-free life. Now here's your host, Debt Free Dad, Brad Nelson.
Hey, how's everyone doing today? You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search Brad Nelson, Debt Free Dad. And welcome to today's show. It's a little crowded on our end to get this show started.
You look so cozy.
It's a little tight.
As we talked about, yeah, it's a little tight. So I'd love to officially welcome my wife, Sarah Nelson, to the Debt Free Dad podcast. Believe it or not, we're actually going to have Sarah on our next episode, and Sarah's going to be sharing her story and her debt freedom story. But really, Sarah's journey is really why this business exists. And I can't believe we've never invited her on.
How rude, Brad.
Yeah, really. I'm like, you know what? We've never even had you on the show before.
Not one time.
But today we're talking about something different. We're talking about a no spend challenge. So if you've never heard of a no spend challenge, let me just give you just a quick kind of rundown of what a no spend challenge is. So it's easy. Pretty self-explanatory, right? You pick an item and you say, you know what? We're just going to do a no spend challenge for that particular item or for that particular expense. So some things people choose are obviously eating out because it's easy. That's the one we picked. You could do things like clothes. You could do things like just, hey, instead of, maybe it's just coffee instead of eating out altogether. Maybe it's just coffee. You'll do a no spend challenge for maybe a week or a month. Things like that.
Amazon.
Amazon. That's a good one, right? That's a perfect one. Target. Yeah, any of those.
I've been doing it on Amazon this year too, so.
Yeah, we committed to that though.
Yep.
It gets hard. That's so easy to buy on there. So easy. So today, what we want to talk about is this no spend challenge that we did where we ate at home for 365 straight days. And to kick off the show, what we just want to talk about is what did we kind of learn on this journey? And really, the first thing we should ask though is why the heck did we even decide to do this? Because there's been some people, including you guys, who have said, Amber, you specifically, there's no way I could ever do that.
I did this for a month once. I don't know how you did it for a year.
It started with a month.
It did. It did start with just a month. And we started, that was the goal. It was just a month. And it was like mid-April through like mid-May we were going to go. And this all started like about a month after COVID hit last year. And we were spending a lot of money, even prior to COVID. We were spending quite a bit of money going out to eat. We estimated, going back and looking at some numbers, it was easily probably like $300, maybe even some months a little higher.
And after COVID, we justified it even more by supporting our local community. So.
Yeah, right. So, you're spending a lot more money, and of course, you're not eating really great food. It's like, and we weren't really terribly excited about the food we were getting and the service that we were getting. Not everywhere, but some of the places. And we would always kind of say like, man, we could make this at home for so much cheaper. Why don't we do that? And one of the reasons why we eat out more often than not, at least when we were eating out, was we both work from home. I run my business from home. Sarah runs her business from home. And so for us, eating out was like an excuse to leave.
Getting out of the house.
Yeah. Like
change of environment.
Yeah, you needed a change of scenery. And I think for us, that was probably one of the biggest excuses that we used to always get out. And so it was just always like, what do we have for dinner? And we'd have dinner planned.
Oh, yeah. I don't feel like that, though.
and then we would decide to go out to eat anyways. So it just got, tiresome. And we were spending a lot of money. And, we, of course, like to have, beers and a cocktail maybe with dinner. And, man, that
adds up right there, your bar bill.
That's like the whole bar bill or the
Yeah.
whole bill. I mean, it's like the whole
The
thing.
whole bill could have been the booze bill for the month.
Exactly. So, we just kind of made a choice. It's like, hey, let's just commit to a month and let's just see if we could do it. It would never started with this whole idea we were going to do it for a year. Never. In fact, I think if we would have started out with this whole idea we were going to do it for a year, I don't even think we would have made it a month.
No.
Because it would have seemed like too big of a challenge, I think.
Right. Because then a month went into 2 months, and then it was like 3 months, and then it was like, oh, well, how long can we go?
Yeah. Well, there's some other reasons why I think we made it go longer than we wanted to.
Because it was working.
Yeah, well, one, it was working. But what we kind of also discovered, though, is that it was fun most of the time. We had a good time with it. We discovered that we actually liked to cook, and it wasn't so much of a drag, I think, for the most part.
No, it wasn't. I feel like we discovered to make better food because that's what our choice was. Either cook better or suffer.
Right. But, I mean, most of the time, though, like when we were looking at going out to eat as the excuse, like it was easy to say, I don't want to cook tonight.
I don't feel like it.
Right. But I think a lot of that helped though with meal planning too. So like Sarah did a really great job with meal planning and like putting meals together. It was very rare, and we'll talk about this, that we actually had a meal twice in 1 month. Like it was always different, and we always tried a lot of different recipes, which really kept it kind of fun. Because then, when you're looking forward to dinner, it's like, oh, we've never had that before. That'll be fun, interesting to try.
Right.
But don't get me wrong. We have 2 kids. We have an 11-year-old and a 2.5-year-old monster running around this house right now. And don't get me wrong, there's days where...
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of days that were like, it would have been so much easier just to pick something up, or if you're out and about and it's getting close to 5, 6 o'clock and you're not even home yet. It's like, oh, God, now we have to go home and make dinner.
Right. And I think the biggest accomplishment, we joke about this now, but I think our biggest accomplishment is that we don't have a dishwasher. So for us, it was like we did dishes 2 to 3 times a day. We do them at breakfast. We eat a late breakfast, and then we have dinner usually between 4:30 and 5:30, depending on Sarah's schedule. And usually there's dishes in between there because of the kids. But yeah, 2 to 3 times a day is what we're doing dishes. So on top of just cooking, we're also spending time doing the dishes, and that to me, I think is the bigger accomplishment. I'm not a fan of leaving dishes sitting on the sink. Like, it drives me nuts. Like if there's dirty dishes in there, I freak out about it. So they gotta get clean right away. So it was on a daily basis.
Oh yeah, multiple times.
So did you find you got better at cooking as well?
Oh yeah, most certainly.
Because I think for me, like I love to cook, and it's one of the things that I've learned one of the best ways we still go out to eat, but we don't go out to eat nearly as much, is because I've gotten better at cooking. And when you said about the quality of food, we find that a lot where it's like, we'll order something. I don't feel like cooking. We get it. And I'm like, I could have made this better. This sucks.
Right.
Because if you get good at cooking, then the food you're ordering in doesn't taste as good.
Yeah.
Plus
absolutely.
your confidence goes up, so you can start cooking other things instead of just the staples that you find yourself eating all the time. Because that's another thing. You just get bored. It's like, oh, we're having this again.
Yeah, we definitely got in that rut for a while. And I think that also contributed to going out to eat more, is that it's like we didn't take time to really find new recipes.
Right.
And we'll talk about that when we talk about meal planning, but we take specific time. Well, you mostly, because that's your department. But, you take specific time out of the day once a month to actually go through and plan out the entire month. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, most certainly, I think, we've gotten just better at cooking in general, being, somewhat open to trying some different things, and that just made it fun. I think steaks have definitely gotten way better. Hamburgers have definitely gotten way better. And where there's some things that have helped that. We're going to talk about that here.
The thermometer has helped too.
Yeah, using a thermometer is really good.
I just told Paul that. I was like, you overcooked this chicken tonight on the barbecue.
Yeah.
You need a thermometer.
But yeah, I mean, food just tastes better at home, and it has been tasting better at home, at least in my opinion.
But we've always joked about, someday opening up a restaurant or getting a food truck. And
yeah, food truck.
We always, not that we ever will, because it doesn't go with our lifestyle, but
not right now. But one of our dreams is when we retire, we're buying a food truck. We're going to be going to all the state fairs.
You'll be seeing us with the Blackstone.
Absolutely. So we're going to come back. We're going to take a short break. We're going to talk a little bit about, so how did we actually do this? How did we make this happen? What worked? What didn't work? And we're going to share those tips here coming up.
Hey, if you love planners, this is for you. But you know why planners frustrate me? Because they only really get it half right. Now, sure, They're really good and fancy about helping you manage your time, which is really important, obviously. That's what a planner's for. But where they get it wrong is money, the second most valuable resource in our lives. Most planners don't include any financial planning, things like, keeping track of paydays, bills, due dates, spending, yearly expenses, budgets, cash flow planning, debt elimination plans, and goal planning, right? None of that stuff. That's a real pain. And then what? Then you got to create your own in some silly binder, right? And who has time for all of that stuff? So instead, what happens? Nothing, right? A lot of people tend to ignore their finances even more, and things only get worse. Well, that all ends today because I am so excited to announce and release my brand new, totally awesome Debt Freedom Planner. This thing's awesome, by the way. Now, before you say, Brad, I've already got a planner. This is not an ordinary day planner. This is the Debt Freedom Planner, which is a companion tool that works with your day planner, and it's built to help you manage your money, pay off more debt, and melt away financial stress. And I believe this is the tool that a lot of people who want to take control of their finances have been waiting for. So head on over to therealdebtfreedad.com, click on the Debt Freedom Planner in the menu to get access to your planner today.
Hey guys, we are back. Today we're talking about our no spend challenge, not eating out for 365 straight days. So now we want to break down just kind of how we did it. And I think number one is we broke it down. It's like we were just 100% committed. Like we just decided like this was it and this is what we were going to do. And
we weren't committed to the year at first.
Absolutely not.
So we were 100% committed to not spending any money. And once the first month was easier, then it just kept going from there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once we got through 30 days, that's when we kind of decided it's like we could totally do this for a year.
But we're like, can we get it till Christmas? Because normally we go out Christmas Eve for dinner. That's just our thing. We drop off our son and go for dinner. So it was like, okay, what are we going to do for Christmas Eve now? So we just cooked at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny how this kind of relates more to like the debt snowball method. We say start small, and we just start with 30 days. We didn't start with like doing it for a year. And it's the same idea. It's like, oh, we did it for 30 days. This was really good. Let's do it a little bit longer. Maybe we can go a little bit longer, right? And it's the same idea of getting out of debt. It's like, you start small, get those little wins, and that gives you confidence. And you're like, oh yeah, this isn't so bad. I can actually make this work.
Right. So you need the commitment first, and then you need to be able to meal plan.
So share some of your meal planning secrets. Like what helped you the most? Because this is where, I mean, I helped you out with a lot of cooking, dishes, all that stuff, but you kind of were like the master of the meal plan. So can you run everybody through about what helped you the most?
So the biggest struggle was, what are we going to make, right? That's what everyone decides, like, oh, I don't know what to eat. I don't know what to make. Otherwise, let's just go out. So I started with just a week at a time, planning out, what do we have in our freezer? What do we have in our pantry? What's on sale? So planning out the week started to be easier for me because I would grocery shop by the week. But then I found myself, okay, if I can go a week, we can do 2 weeks at a time and then pretty much get the staples that we need in order to cook the meals that we normally cook, and then just going into it. So getting input from the family was huge. Just like we know that on Tuesdays, it's some form of Taco Tuesday, whether it's enchiladas or chimichangas or something, just getting some feedback. We do have an 11-year-old with a very picky appetite, so we have to worry about the days that he's with us to cook, to make sure that I'm not making salmon or anything that he's like, ew, gross. So that kind of takes into a consideration. So I always have to worry about certain days of the week. But other than that, then I just decided that, you know what, forget this. We're going to sit down one day and just do the entire month. And it's so much easier when you're planning out the month because I know what I'm writing down, so I'm not getting duplicates, where if it's a week at a time, I'm like figuring, okay, last week we had burgers, we had chicken, so this week let's have burgers and let's do chicken. So you're repeating the same thing, and I just found we were getting bored and kind of stuck in a rut where it's like, okay, now I'm craving going out to eat because we're not getting the different palate tastes. So it definitely went from just sitting down. It's one day. It takes me probably about an hour and a half, finding different input from different recipes. So Pinterest is huge. That's a great way to look at it. Old recipes, cookbooks. There's magazines all have different recipes in it. So trying a different recipe. We also use emails. So if you haven't checked out emails is pretty cool. It is a subscription-based program, but they do have different things that you can search for. They only give you 2 weeks at a time, so you kind of have to be creative with that and kind of search different options. They have some comfort food and things like that, but there's not a ton of new recipes coming out all the time.
Yeah. That one's really good. And we did spend some money on that subscription. And we also took advantage of online grocery ordering, which funny enough, you weren't doing prior to this.
No, because it was my only time to get out of the house. So I don't like to grocery shop, but at the same time, I don't always like to be home. So
wait. You're telling me the kids drive you crazy?
It's my outlet. So sometimes I would have to use my personal work day to go out for the grocery store. But online shopping has been huge because overspending was my big thing where you're looking at the meal plan's already planned out. So I know what I need to get, but I'm like, oh, look, chicken's on sale or steak's on sale, which would be helpful for like the next month or the next week if I knew that was going to be on the meal plan. Because that's kind of where it gets a little tricky, is that I don't know ads in advance. So it's like if I'm shopping for certain things, but I just substitute. So if ground beef's not on sale, then I just get ground turkey or ground chicken.
I mean, keep in mind though too, I mean, we are in a different situation than say somebody who's working their way out of debt. If you're working your way out of debt and you're sticking to a really tight grocery budget, like we used to have to do.
Right. Then I would meal plan per ad.
Right. You probably have to meal plan a little bit differently. But being that we've got flexibility in our budget now because we are out of debt, it gives us the freedom and flexibility, not necessarily have to just make things that are just on sale all the time.
Right. But knowing what I'm planning for, so if I see that there's a sale on, let's say, pork chops, I know that next Monday's pork chops, I might as well just buy them this week so that I have them, throw them in the freezer, and it's all ready to go. So there's flexibility in that way, and leftover nights are huge because, again, we are a very busy schedule. So if there's something that comes up and we're not home, or if we decide that we have to run errands or the kids got to get picked up late, the leftovers, having that is huge. And some people are like, oh my God, I hate leftovers. Well, cook meals that taste better the next day and you won't find yourself in that situation.
Yeah, that's for sure. And there definitely are people who hate leftovers. So that may not work for everybody, but I am like, yeah, Amber, and I know Ryan, I think you said it one time. I hate
leftovers.
You're not a leftover fan either.
But some things just taste better.
Food.
It's used food.
But like lasagna is way better the next day than it is
There
fresh.
are some things like shepherd's pie, lasagna, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'll eat it the next
Chili.
day. But most of the time, Paul's just taking it for work and then it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah. See, I'm like, I just will eat it. I'll eat it for breakfast. It doesn't matter.
I have to sometimes be like, Brad, that's 10 days old. You're not eating that.
It still smells okay. It passes the smell test. It's okay.
It doesn't look bad. It smells good. Looks
growing on
good.
yet.
Right.
But leftovers did help a lot. Like we usually have like at least one a week.
Yeah. I try.
And sometimes we've had to do two because we have
so much extra
too
food,
many leftovers. But
a lot of, like, if you look at the emails and you're looking at Pinterest recipes, a lot of it are family of 4. So again, serving size, it works.
Well, and there's that statistic out there. If you go to savethefood.com, which is an awesome website just on food waste, the average family of 4 throws away about $125 worth of food a month. I think that comes out to about $1,500. I think if my math's right, about $1,500 a year. I mean, that's a lot of money. Now, I can't say we were perfect because there were some instances where things did go bad. We didn't eat it in time. Yeah, I mean, I think there's always going to be a little bit of waste, but I think we did pretty good on the waste. And
I find that we were wasting more food when we were going out to eat because I would have it planned and then we wouldn't go out to eat, and then it was like, okay, now we didn't cook it and now it's bad and now we just throw it away. So I feel like we throw away less.
Yeah.
Than we were.
Yeah, the burning question that I always get that I always think Sarah gets frustrated with me is, I'm going to the store, do you need anything?
Oh,
it's like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
The normal stuff.
It's like, I just don't think about it. I don't think about the question even though she asks me like 2 or 3 times a week. Going to the store, do you need anything? I don't know. And then she gets home. Did you pick up?
Yeah. Do we have any almonds? I didn't know we needed almonds. I asked if you needed anything.
So another tip that really helped us too is just to make things that were fun and that you want to try. I think we tried some really interesting things.
There's nothing that I was like, oh my God, that was disgusting. I'll never make that again.
There's been a couple of the emails subscription is a little maybe on the fancy side for some people. Like they have some unique ingredients and stuff there.
There's a lot of recipes that need capers, and I'm not a capers person, so there's some stuff that we just leave out. There
were some things that we took out and substituted, but yeah, just make fun food.
If I can't pronounce it, I can't usually cook it. So that's a good rule of thumb.
But yeah, I mean, we just looked for recipes that just, were like, yeah, that would be either really fun to make or really fun to try, or just different, something that we normally wouldn't try to make. And a lot of those we would save more for like Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays.
We have more time.
Days we have a little bit more time and some flexibility. So that would be another thing is like some people just say, well, I don't know what to make. Well, just pick out things that you enjoy and things that are fun. And that makes the whole process just a lot more easy, I think.
that I've just recently really learned. Like we moved from Wisconsin to Tennessee, and like we miss the pizza. You know, like there's just always really good pizza where we're from, and they don't have that here. So finally, this year in the pandemic, I like learned how to make like a really, really good pizza dough and make a really, really good like home pizza. It's really close to stuff that we get at home. And it's been awesome because we always order pizza. I mean, pizza is like one of the main things we're always ordering out. And ever since I learned how to make that, nobody wants to order out. They're always like, just make it.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
You become more adventurous, I feel like, when you have to.
We got that way. Our son is a huge fan of smash burgers because our next thing that we want to talk about is we invested in some fun and new cookware and tools, and one of those was a Blackstone. And if you're on Facebook and you've friended me or you've seen me on Facebook, I post my Blackstone pictures like almost every day.
Oh yeah, it's on Paul's wish list. He's like, we need to get one of these.
I wish we had a commission base because Brad has sold more Blackstones than some Blackstone salesmen, and I wish that we got a cut on that.
I love my Blackstone.
We love it so much that we bought one for our camper, and then we hated coming home because our food at home started to suck. So we're like, now we need a Blackstone for home.
Yeah,
so we bought a second one.
We did. We bought two, and I have not regret. Those have been a huge investment. We have gotten so much of our money's worth out of those two already, and we're
already trying to figure out how to implement it into our kitchen. So like, how can we get the Blackstone top into our kitchen?
Yeah, how can you get a griddle top into a kitchen? Because you don't see that very often, but that would be something I would really like to have. But yeah, so I mean, look for fun, cool cookware tools.
Air fryer, that was huge.
The point of a no spend challenge is obviously to save money, but if you're in a situation where you could take a little bit of that and invest in something that might make things a little bit easier, yeah, air fryer. We have a lot of use out of air fryer. We love that thing.
Right. And you can find, recipes that you would normally get out, like fried food that you can make at home for healthier. So I feel like that's a huge.
Yeah. And there's definitely some things that we need to invest in that we still haven't, like
knives,
kitchen knives.
Oh my gosh. The cuts I have on my hands from dull knives is ridiculous.
We have like those miracle blades from that you go to the state fair and you get
from 1998.
Yeah, they're let's just say
it can cut a penny.
Yeah.
Cut through this tin can.
They aren't so miraculous anymore. Let's just put it that way. I mean, they still get the job done, but we do need, for as much as we cook, we do need to invest in some at least a few decent knives to cut some of those tomatoes. You're like just sawing it. It didn't work so well. No. So anyways, let's talk a little bit about some of the benefits that we saw in doing this challenge. And number one is we saved money. As we said, we were spending about $300 a month. So, I mean, multiply that times 12 months. That's $3,600 that we technically saved.
And that's on the low end.
Yeah, on the low end for sure, in 1 year. We also saved money on food waste, like we talked about. We didn't throw away as much food because we weren't eating, we weren't going out to eat and just wasting the food that we already bought in the refrigerator. So that made savings a lot better too. Now, keep in mind, we didn't realize that savings. Like, we don't see an extra $3,600 in our bank account for that. As we mentioned, we bought some cooking equipment and we made this kind of a fun thing. And it was really less about savings technically and really more about could we do it and how can we make it fun.
Right. It's not like we specifically put that money into an account, which you could.
Yeah,
you could
totally
just say
could.
Like, we were going out to dinner tonight. It was gonna be $100. Throw it into an account.
Right. Well, I mean, with people that we coach, I mean, it's not uncommon. I mean, Amber, Ryan, you see some of the people in Roots and what they're talking about. I went through my past bank statements and realized I'm spending, $400, $500, $600 a month on going out to eat. I mean, that's not uncommon. So, I mean, if you are able just to cut back a little bit on that, I mean, that's a way to build your emergency fund faster, pay down debt a little bit faster. So, all great things. A couple of other things, obviously, is our health improved. Obviously, we're not going out, which, going out to eat all the time, it's pretty proven that's not healthy for you, right?
You'll feel so sluggish. And just uncomfortable after you get home and not wanting to do anything.
Yeah, and I think we made our meals pretty simple. Like, when we made a dinner, it's not like you had the meat and a couple of sides and a salad and bread. Like, we didn't have all. Right. It wasn't like a full course meal or anything. It was like you get a meat and you get like a vegetable or a salad. Like, it was pretty simple, pretty easy. But, just keeping it little, small plates. We just kept dinners really, really simple, but they were really,
and our
really
portions.
good too.
I mean, you're not serving yourself this huge meal portion like you get at a restaurant when you feel like you have to eat the whole thing because you paid for it and you don't want to, throw anything away. And it was so good. And if you're not a leftover person, leftovers aren't the best when you're going out to eat and you're like, forget it, I'm just going to finish it all. So now we don't have that.
Right. Or you just leave it on the table like I've done many times.
Forget your leftovers. Yeah.
Forget your leftovers. Couple of other things is just family and partner connection. Do you feel more connected?
I do. The connection has been amazing. Sometimes I just want to say, get the hell out of my kitchen. But for the most part, he's a very good helper and he's a very good griddler. So we have to say that too.
But yeah, I mean, I think if you think about it, I mean, we made 365 dinners and including breakfast.
Yeah.
I mean, every day. I mean, so, we eat breakfast around the kitchen table with the kids. At least I do. Sarah's usually working at that time in the morning. And then at night, we're around the kitchen table again every single day. Every single day.
Every day.
But no, for the most part, it was really, really good. And
we had fun.
We did. And I think it was fun. The kids had fun. I mean, Avery eats like a horse. She'll eat anything.
Yeah, she's not picky at all. And now it's going to be hard because everyone's like, well, where are you going to eat? It's hard to even break it because they're like, I don't know, like, where's the first place we're going to eat?
That's the number one question we've been getting. Where are you guys going to go out to eat first when this is over?
There's nothing that I'm like missing a lot.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I can't think of one thing.
We're from Wisconsin, so for maybe a good fish fry, but other than that.
Yeah. There's not like one thing that I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to have that.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about thinking about a no spend challenge for you. So what our recommendation to you is, don't pick something you hate doing. That's step number one, right? So like for someone like Amber, who already doesn't really like to cook or isn't thrilled about cooking, I wouldn't recommend to Amber, you know what? You need to do this challenge.
If it's a recipe that has more than 5 ingredients, I'm out. I bought a recipe book that's 5 ingredients or less.
Perfect.
Is it
fantastic?
Are they good? Are they good recipes?
I don't know. I didn't get.
We went out to eat after we bought it.
I honestly don't remember. It was a long time ago, but it's still in my cupboard. So maybe I'll pull it out one day.
When I use it, I'll let you know.
Sounds like an excellent resource. So a couple of other things for your no spend challenge is that it also has to be a challenge. Like, it's not supposed to be easy. That's why they call it a challenge, right?
If you're already not going out to eat, don't pick a no going out to eat spend.
Yeah. So find something that's challenging for you. Like it could be even something just cutting back. If you are a Starbucks person, like I work with people who go to Starbucks 2 to 3 times a day. Instead of 2 to 3 times a day, maybe you just start out with just 1 time a day.
Or try going a whole week without it.
Or, now you're taking it all away for a
whole
whole
week.
Like,
why not? See if you can go a week with making your own coffee at home.
And then, just making those little steps towards progress. Like, it goes back again to getting out of debt, doing a lot of stuff that we talk about on this show. You're going to feel pretty accomplished. Like, we felt really good when we went 30 days. And then when we were like, now it's day 100. Now it's day 200. And then when we crossed the 300, we were like, holy smokes, I can't believe we even made it this long. That's crazy. But, you make those small little steps, you feel accomplished, your confidence goes up, and it's cool. It's something fun to do. It's giving us something to talk about with other people. And
I did go out to a restaurant recently. So it was one of those, oh my God, someone invited me for breakfast and I can't do it. So I was like, Brad, if I just go and visit and order water, does it count as going out to eat? And he's like, no, as long as you're not spending any money. So I went and got water and just chit-chatted with the girls, and it was fine. But everyone's like, you can have a bite because you didn't buy it. So I was like, no, I'm good, but thank you.
She stuck to it.
I did.
I do have an asterisk on my 1 year because I went up north with a couple of friends, and we had all the plans in the world to I was actually bringing my Blackstone with. I was bringing it up. We were going to cook all the food there. And then all of a sudden everyone's schedules changed and everyone left at a different time. And then nobody bought food. So it was like, well, I guess we're not cooking anything. So I had to go out to eat twice that time because there was literally no food for 2.5 days. So I was like, well, I guess this is my mulligan. But Sarah did continue the challenge at home. So we still count it.
Yeah, it counts because I still slaved away and cooked that whole weekend.
So there you have it. If you're going to do your no spend challenge, though, you don't have to do it for a year. Just give yourself, like Sarah said, a week, a month, but just try something. I bet you and guarantee you that you will surprise yourself and you'll save a ton of money. There's no question. Any last tips?
Meal planning. It's huge. I mean, it's one of those things that you hate doing it. Just sit down and make it fun. Make it a game. Who can decide on Monday meals and who can decide, like, make themes if you want to, if it's going to be pasta Monday or taco Tuesday or whatever. But just sitting down and meal planning, that's my biggest thing because so many times I hear, I just don't know what to make. So if you take that factor out, if you take away the guessing game, it's already there and you don't even have to think about it. I just look at the calendar and like, oh, tomorrow night's chicken. So it's so much easier than what do you feel like? What do you have a taste for?
Yeah.
Because I'm just so sick of going out with this one over here because of the fact, where do you want to go? I don't care. Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
Where do you want to go? So someday I'm going to open up a restaurant. It's going to be like, where do you want to go?
Yep, that's the name of your food truck right there.
Where do you want to go?
I don't care, whatever you want.
Right.
Well, it's something else to mention too, and I know we didn't talk about time because that is another excuse. I just don't have time to do it. And I don't think, like, for not everything, because obviously there were some things like when you make that pizza with that special dough, that takes a little bit more time. But like for the most part, dinners were usually 30 minutes. I mean, they're not like a tremendous amount of time.
When somebody says dredging chicken, that makes me very scared. So I was like, what's dredging a chicken mean? So, how long does that take? But other than that, no, some stuff was a little scary at first because I would get anxiety like, oh my God, is this going to turn out? Because I've never made this before. So it's fine. It's good. Be creative.
Well, there you go. There you guys have it. 365 straight days. No eating now. We'll see if we break
Let's
it.
go longer.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We're going to do some celebrations.
Hey, what's this I see? I thought this was a party! Let's
All right. That means it's time for the celebrations of the show. And today we're kicking it off with Brenda Hafferman. My husband and I are paying cash money for our water softener system today. Cash is king and often comes with a discounted price. You are damn right it does. Never thought I'd be able to do something like this. Huge congratulations to you. That's a big win.
Celine Batiste, I was able to pay off 2 collections and I paid off a loan.
Tiana Swanson, selling all the things we don't need to pay off $6,500 in medical bills in cash on the 31st and have saved $3,200 so far.
That's impressive. Good job.
Lori Lynch, I was able to pay off a credit card and saved another $2,000 to my emergency fund.
Amazing. Sarah Catherine added $150 to her emergency fund and paid off another credit card, clearing another $741.56. I'm officially addicted to paying off credit cards. That is amazing. And that we hear quite often around here. That is awesome. Good job.
Heather Chadwick, I was able to make double car payment. That was $1,200, and it didn't even bother me to put me in a tight spot. This weekend, I will be paying off the loan from my mother-in-law.
Yeah, and that last one is
That's the worst. Owing family members money.
yeah, that is going to be a good one to pay off and get rid of. And I know she messaged today. She said she's taking care of that one today, and she says she feels great about it. So that's great.
Awesome.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us here today. We love your feedback, and it also helps us grow our YouTube show. So please give us a like or leave us some honest feedback on this video. And if you want the latest from the show, obviously be sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe to our channel. And for the latest resources, or if you want more information on how to kick debt and financial stress, please be sure to check out the links in this video or head over to therealdebtfreedad.com. We'll see you guys on an upcoming show. Take care.